Of more dollars will fund an urban trail connecting Harris-Stowe State University to St. Louis's new Major League Soccer stadium. Today, the state signed off on tax credits for the Great Rivers Greenway, infusing $2 million into the pedestrian path. The trail will begin at the corner of City Park, where the Pillars of the Valley stands. That is a tribute to Mill Creek Valley, a former black neighborhood of 20,000 residents. The path would then run along Market Street to Harris-Stowe's campus. This segment is part of the $245 million project. The urban trail will connect St. Louis City through a network of greenways.